Yo, it's Mel from Rap Rankings. To hear the full episode this clip comes from and all the other episodes, stop by raprankings.com or search Rap Rankings on your favorite podcast platform. Track 2, Puppets. Puppets are cool. I like Slappy and Goosebumps. This isn't Puppet Rankings. Flat 6.
Flat 7 for me. Ding me, baby.
Oh, man. You were just, I thought you were just mentioning coons, but I misheard you not too long ago. You said buffoons. My notes. So this Puppets beat, I said dramatic keys and a clap. Sounds like a secret house slave meeting on how to be better coons.
Okay. Oh my God.
That's what this beat sounds like.
You know what it sounds like to me a little bit? The beat?
What's that?
Is that like stomp clap style that's like every WWE package, like video package before like the pay-per-view starts? It's like
oh right. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Hey,
yeah.
Hey, and it's like I am the man, and it's like all these little, I am the tribal chief. Acknowledge me. It's let's be frank, okay? A bit of schmaltz on this music.
Yes, absolutely. And to that point, I wrote, "This ain't rap." And it reminds me of something you said on the phone. I feel like this is the perfect song to start addressing all this. You said that Atmosphere, in a lot of ways, could be looked at as a better Macklemore.
Yeah, good. Okay. I think I said good Macklemore.
Yeah, good Macklemore. That's what you said on the phone. Okay. And look, Macklemore review out now. There are songs that we both like on there, but I'm taking Atmosphere over Macklemore personally. All right, listen to that review to find out why.
In both situations, I think that Ant is a better and more versatile producer than Ryan. What's his name? Ryan Lewis.
Yeah.
And Slug just kicks the shit out of Macklemore as an MC, as a writer, as a storyteller.
For me, Ryan Lewis and Ant might be tied. I don't know. I don't want to re-listen to that Macklemore album to be frank.
Ant's got really good beats across the Atmosphere catalog.
Okay.
Like this is their album where they're starting to incorporate more live instruments. So you're gonna get stuff that sounds a little not rap-ish. Yeah, I guess.
This is one of those not rap-ish. Look, I have no issue with drumless beats, but this has no groove to it. To me.
Yeah, this is like instead of drums, we got the stomps in place of them, basically. Like, that's supposed to be the kick, and then the claps are supposed to be the snare.
And because of that, I feel like I'm at some drama club kid production.
It Lin-Manuel Miranda like I said, music. It's got an air of that to it. It does. Which is why I can't go higher than the 7, even though I like what Slug is doing on here a whole lot. Like, I think it picks up from the last song really well. It's kind of like we got the broad picture on the last song, and now we zoom into our first character. I also like the chorus, aside from the, like, go to your car and do another line. There's some bars on Atmosphere songs that's just like, I don't relate to these in any way. I didn't hang out with people that were doing shit like this. Like, and it makes me think back to when I first heard of Atmosphere before I had listened to Felt. I had just seen on the internet, like, this was a rap group that was a favorite of like these Suicide Girls. And I'm like, okay.
Wait, we got to stop there. We had enough smut talk last week, so
all I'll say is that like it explained a lot about the appeal and following of this group, and like that's not to say that there weren't Suicide Girls who are hip hop heads or quote unquote true school hip hop heads sprinkled in there, but I said earlier, I went to one of their shows for this album, actually, and I did not feel like I was at a rap show.
And I'm glad. Let's talk about that, okay? Because you said that on the phone, and I was like, We
I think I said it in part 1 too.
Yeah, and I was saying we're going to talk about that more once we got to the actual review. We had a mind meld right there because I totally felt what you were talking about. I've been to
hundreds of rap shows at this point. I mean, I grew up in New York, so
right. And I've been to not nearly as much, probably like a dozen, like all together. But I've been to shows where the fan base was similar to this.
I've been to shows with a predominantly white audience that still weren't like this predominantly white audience.
Yes, this is a specific audience. I knew what you were talking about when you said it. And
because, I mean, bro, I went to like, certain shows and I'm looking around and it's like the event is called Black August and it's like 60-70% white people at BB King's. And I'm just like, what is going on here? This is wild. So trust me, I'm no stranger to seeing white people at rap shows. I think I told that story on the Mobb Deep episode about this dude that I worked at the pizza place with, went to the Mobb Deep show with me and got kicked out for fucking going up to a guy and thinking he could say the M-word. So, Listen, I'm no stranger to white people at rap shows. By far, no stranger. But these were not those people, Mel.
These are different white people. And you said something on the phone to the effect of, like, you felt out of place there because it's like, this wasn't quite the rap audience that you were used to. Like,
but here's the thing, like, I've seen, like, for instance, I've seen Billy Joel at the Garden. I've seen Bon Jovi at the Garden, right? Mm-hmm. I never felt out of place at those shows, but that's like some rock shit, like it's not like a hip hop show, which is probably where I feel most at home. Right. The audience, though, fairly working class, it felt like, and just like degular ass people.
Mm-hmm.
I can't put my finger on these. I didn't know these people existed in New York at this Atmosphere show. There are 2 shows, ironically, both of them at Irving Plaza. I saw Dizzy Rascal at Irving Plaza, and I'd never seen an audience like this before or since. It was basically like being at a rave. Like, people were going fucking crazy in there. It was like a mix between a rave and a hardcore show. That was nuts. Crazy energy. And then this show at Irving Plaza, Atmosphere, was like, I don't know, they got an upright bass on stage. And yet, like, I've seen the Roots multiple times, at least a dozen times. And, sometimes you go to a Roots show, there's a lot of fucking college white people around. Not the same kind of people I'm talking about. Who are these people, Mel? Can you tell me?
It's difficult to define, but, like, I'll try to just, like, spitball it. I think that's the phrase I'm looking for. It's like me and you, like, lifelong hip-hop fans we are. But you go to these shows and it's like, I don't get the sense that these people are hip-hop fans. They're Atmosphere fans. So it's like the Eminem fans.
Right. The way that they like Eminem.
But don't, like, actually interact with hip-hop at large outside of
only people that Eminem signs to Shady or does, like, extensive collaborations with, like Royce or Lil Wayne.
Or even Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
Or 50 Cent. It's like, I get... So it's like, okay, these are...
They're Rhymesayers fans. They're Atmosphere fans. Right. They're, like, fans of, like, the Minneapolis hip-hop scene specifically.
Right. They can't really tell you anything about hip hop outside of that bubble, So
they were into it though, man. Like, I didn't know.
Of course, they're very into it.
I didn't know that these people existed when you're in New York. I mean, I was in the middle of the room. I think my placement in the room was bad too. I was in the dead center of the room, like nowhere near the front, nowhere near the back, just like kind of in the ocean of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never seen an audience like this before. I've literally seen so many different kinds of music live, especially rap, and like I've literally never encountered it. This and Dizzy Rascal had by far, and the Dizzy Rascal audience was cool. Like,
okay, see, here's the thing. Cool. That word that you just said. Now, look, I say this at risk of potentially offending people, but I want to make it clear. I don't consider myself I will say this. I often refer to myself as a lame, in earnest. So keep that in mind when I say the audience at shows like this could be considered lames. Okay? Now, and that's, like I said,
I was in the audience, okay?
You were but it's like, it's this sense of,
I bought
like,
a ticket.
Okay.
But I was just, I don't know. I felt like, almost like the way that if, someone comes to my apartment, my cat gets jealous and wants to bite them. It's like they could smell on me that I wasn't one of them or something. I felt really out of place.
It's almost cultish.
Yeah.
The feeling you get in there. It's like, okay, these people are really into like the artist that they came to see.
So you haven't seen Atmosphere live?
Oh no,
have you?
I haven't seen Atmosphere live. No, but I've seen Atmosphere adjacent artists.
Okay,
and I felt out of place. Like it's like, yo,
and keep in mind, I said this in part 1, Mel. I came to Atmosphere as a Moulz fan. I'm like a fan of Slug almost by symbiosis at this point, because he has 4 albums with a guy that I like quite a bit.
Right.
So my fandom of Moulz, it's like almost you're really close to someone, you start to meet their friends.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know this guy's friends were like this, though. Like,
it's a very intimate energy,
I met Slug and Ant. I'm like, they're cool, man. Thanks for introducing me to them. Then Slug introduces me to someone, or I go to his fucking party, and it's just a totally different vibe than I was expecting.
Yeah. And you're just like, okay, well.
Dude, I gotta be honest. I overall had a bad time at that show. It was a good show from a performance perspective. Nothing wrong with the musicians. They did all a great job, I think. I just didn't feel it. Like I felt really isolated at that show.
When you feel out of place, you feel out of place.
I think I was with David. Hold on a second.
Are you gonna call this man live?
I'm gonna call him just to see if he was at that show with me, and he can confirm like were these people fucking weirdos or not.
We don't really do this often. The live call. I don't think we've ever done this, actually. Have we? No, once. Season 2. Oh, the phone's ringing. All right, let's see what happens. Wow, Slug picks up the phone. That'd be a crazy twist. Oh no, what if he got kidnapped by Slug and Ant?
Please leave your message for...
Oh, okay.
If he calls back, we'll pick that up where we left off.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, look, I say this totally in solidarity from my side of dweebery, but it's like, it's a very dweebish energy, But it's a different dweebish energy than the dweebish energy that I carry. Like, okay, man. Would you agree and say it feels like there's a lack of self-awareness?
From who? The fandom?
Yeah.
Not the musicians.
Not the musicians. From the fandom. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with enjoying the artists that you came to see. That's why you came to see them. I would say there's nothing even wrong with being overzealous about it, but it gets to the point where I feel like, are they aware of like how they're coming off or what this looks like? By all means, continue to do it because like you paid money, you care about this person, do what you do. These are just my observations, and it's like,
I'm not saying these people were bad, but they're
not bad people.
They made me feel weird. That doesn't mean they're bad. They just made me feel personally weird as a enjoyer of this music, but non-stan.
There you go. It's like, yo, I mean, like this is cool, but like the way y'all enjoying this, I don't know if I'm in the right place. It's like, so. To bring all that back, why do we bring this up? It's because, well, for me personally, this is one of those tracks that reminds me of that. the music, like the delivery, some of the content. And speaking of the content, you said if you felt like, all right, so we're zooming in now. Yeah, we're zooming in, but it's like I think we could have benefited from a what would be the word? A closer zoom, I guess, because here's the thing. Maybe I'm just stupid, but this is a tiny bit too vague to me. Not to the point I don't get it, obviously. I mean, the record is about like this person who, you know, is upset about, I guess, having missed the boat, you know, like didn't quite get where they wanted to go in their career.
Right, but you're feeling like we didn't get specific enough for the zoom in, for the first zoom in.
Yeah, it's like, right, I got what's happening here.
I'll say this, and why I keep it at a flat 7. Throughout this album, to me, Slug shows you how high of a bar he can set as a storyteller. Yeah. And then I'll hold this story against that story. You feel me?
Right.
So
I know how effective he can be.
This isn't him necessarily completely flexing his storytelling muscles, and we'll hear that later on the album.
Right. You know, it's like, this is the problem here is that I get the theme.
You know what's crazy, Mel? And I'm like the ultimate like anti-new age bullshit guy.
Okay.
Based on the sound of the intro and everything, I like where this goes musically. I know it's schmaltzy. There is something that's like a bit off-putting about it in some way. But taking it on its own terms as a piece of music on this album, I think, you know, it follows the conceit of the last track in the sense of, you know, bringing the music, like bringing more life into the music.
Yeah, it didn't do that for me. Like complete opposite effect. Like I'm like, all right, I'm starting to feel like I'm in that room again where like I'm an alien and everyone.
I definitely, and I capped this at a flat 7 because of all the songs on this album, this one gives me flashbacks of being in the middle of that room more than any other song.
Yeah. You know,
and it must have been because the performance of it must have came off kind of like foreign to me as well. Like, where am I? Like, what am I watching right now? I paid for this.
You know, so
I paid for a ticket. I could feel however the fuck I want to feel, you stans, okay? Paid for a fucking ticket. I bought the limited edition version of this album. Suck my dick. I can feel however I want, okay?
Oh, man.
You Atmos fucks, okay?
Okay. And Dolby Atmos.
That's what they get for making me feel fucking weird, okay?
Oh, brother.
You guys made me feel fucking weird, okay?
I mean, and I agree. I was made to feel, but it's like, it's my fault, I guess, you know? Because I came to the
feel
show.
like if I went to, like, Gathering of the Juggalos would have been mad more friendly to me, honestly. Okay. It would have been, just welcoming and inviting and be like, yo, like, whoop, whoop, you could be a Juggalo with us, you know? Like, we'll make you a Juggalo this weekend or something. Like, we'll give you, like, honorary status, or you can join the Juggalo family.
To feel like an honorary Juggalo.
I'd rather be a Juggalo than an Atmosfoe. And you know what? I prefer Atmosphere's music to the ICP, but the fans don't seem as nice as the Juggalos do. And the Juggalos, they like drinking that Faygo. What are Atmosphere fans known for drinking? Alcohol.
Oh, yeah, alcohol, and apparently, what else do? They snort lines?
I don't know if they're snorting lines. They didn't give me snorting line energy. They gave me, like, packing bowl energy, honestly.
Okay. I think I would have appreciated this being less vague. Of course, this is just my opinion that it was vague, but it was to the point that its effectiveness and impact as a record was lost due to vagueness. I understood what it was about, but it wasn't as impactful because of the vagueness. And the lady singing in harmony with him towards the end, I can do with that. Doing too much. I feel like I'm in that room. It's like it's unnecessary.
She did it live. She did it live, and I'm like, all right, guys, like, I get it. Like instruments and singers and the whole shit. And it's a rap show. Can you believe it? Oh my god.
Yeah. You know,
But I mean, Slug is going on the record here saying he doesn't really like that sound, but he had to make some money because he was getting too many sample lawsuits.
Yeah. So.
But that's why I'm saying I don't think you can make a judgment on Ant's production just based on this album.
Yeah, no, of course not.
You know, and that's not to say there's not production on this album that I like. I mean, there is, but to me, the production on here is the only thing holding it back from me liking it more, because there is that air of schmaltz to it, and yet I do think it's a musical, from like an arrangement perspective, it makes sense coming after like the rest of us. Like, we've upped the ante. Now, I do have an issue with the sequencing after this point, though, so we'll get into that with our next track.
All right, well, listen, Puppets, I guess I could say I'm a fan of who's pulling the strings, but I don't like how they was pulling them on this specific track. You know. Anyway, yeah, get the lady out of here singing in harmony. It's like this isn't fake art.
No, it's not fake art. It's all arranged.
It's misplaced real art.
It's doing too much, is what it is.
It's doing too much.
It's like getting an ice cream cone and you want like sprinkles, and it's like, you know what? Can we put like a chicken finger in there as well? And then can we pour honey on the chicken finger? And then can we sprinkle sesame seeds on it? Like, enough, okay?
To me, it's like, okay, I'd like a simple ice cream cone, but they threw on, okay, here's some sprinkles and nuts, and like they you know, Olive Garden, like, you got the cheese grater. It's like, tell me when to stop. It's like they put a bunch of whipped cream on it, but they didn't stop for like 15 seconds.
Right, they're adding way too much shit.
This ain't even ice cream no more. This is like an art piece, you know? Like, I came for ice cream. I don't want to have to like elaborately eat this thing.
Now,
you know?
I do think we differ in the sense, I do think it's a good song still, but I agree with you in a lot of your like hesitation with it as well.
Yeah, it's all right. Hence the flat 6. Okay. So that's all I got on that.
My apologies to the atmosphere. I'll just say to the New York chapter.
I'm not trying to insult y'all. I'm just trying to describe how it felt.
For the New York chapter, you guys need to get your, I don't know, figures. You move to Minneapolis. You guys are making a fool of New York.
All right, man. Are we moving on?
This ain't the mini Appo. It's the big Appo. Okay.
Okay, hold on. Actually, that was kind of a bar. I was gonna hit the badums, but no, that was. This man said, "Yo, that was crazy." Am I so far removed from rap? That would be bad news if like the Atmosphere fans are like, "Really? You got the nerve to judge us, and you think that's a bar?" Well, listen.
Yeah.
That's called motherfucking bars.
That's right. You heard him.
No, hold on. Turn that up. No, this is too quiet.
That's called motherfucking bars, nigga. You know nothing about that.
All right. Yeah. We moving on?
We have to at this point.
Okay.
Yo, it's Mel from Rap Rankings. To hear the full episode this clip comes from and all the other episodes, stop by raprankings.com or search Rap Rankings on your favorite podcast platform.